This meeting is being recorded.
All right. So again, I'm going to go back a little bit because I forgot to record. In our industry, it doesn't matter what franchise you're with, October through January is probably the time period where you're going to get the most education out there, whether you're looking for it, whether it's being jammed down your throat. Your top producers, your top 10% who are making the most money, they actually start in end of September, October. They go to business planning clinics. Now, with our franchise, it's the business planning clinic with Gene Rivers. It basically gets you to where you need to be for the following year. But during those next couple of weeks, you're supposed to break it down even more. Now, don't get me wrong. There's also more training that goes from January to, I think it's the end of May, because our CEs. Now in Pennsylvania, they're due the opposite year of January of New Jersey. So if you're dual licensed, you know exactly what boat I'm in. Every year we have to do our CEs, but it's normal for me because not only because I'm a coach, but I'm also coaching people, keeping people accountable. I do this weekly, I do this monthly, so it's just another month for me. So what we're going to go over today is we're going to re-go over the business plan, but we're going to break that down into a 4-1-1 and a 1-3-5. Now, I know you guys aren't mathematicians, so what does all that mean? The 4-1-1, well, let's go back to the first one, the business plan. The business plan, numbers wise, you're going to know how many transactions you need. So, but the first thing you need to do is know how much money do I want to make? When you take that amount, just don't take an amount. Find out what your why is, what you want to accomplish. Add in your rent, all your expenses, and all the expenses that you have to give to your franchise. Put that all together. Now, I know you sell real estate all over the places. You're not going to turn down, like if your primary area is Washington Township, you're not going to turn down a Medford or a Collingswood property. We get that. On our team, we cover everywhere from Cape May County to Burlington. We do Northeast Philadelphia. We do Montgomery. We do Bucks County in Pennsylvania. But my primary area is Mantua. That's my area. So at the end of the day, whatever my amount is for those goals, I now have to divide that by my average sales price. I have to know what my average sales price is. And that's going to give me a blueprint of how many transactions I need. Now I have to determine, am I going to be a listing specialist? Am I going to be a buyer specialist? Or am I just going to take every single deal? And then you're going to split the ocean, seller side, buyer side. Well, now we got to go up. The first thing we got to say is, what's my average commission? Now, of course, if you go to any training event, whether it's Floyd Wickman, Bold, Brian Buffini, Tom Ferry, Mike Ferry, 6%, sometimes 7%. We don't want to put 6% on there only because sometimes you don't get that. Sometimes you have that family and friends discount. Sometimes you get talked down. Sometimes you're just, hey, I need to take the transactions. But at the same time, we don't want to be known as the real estate agent that, hey, we always cut our commission. Never cut by you cutting your commission, you're cutting your value. You're not showing your value. Now, if you go into a certain situation, that's your business. But what we're trying to get at with this business plan, your value proposition is why they're hiring you. They came to you from your conversation or a past referral that you did a great job with, and you're going to give them the same service. So with that being said, we use a normal real estate commission, 2.75 on each side. By that, we calculated what you're going to make. Now we have to go backwards. Okay. We know how many deals we want. Now we got to go backwards. So I'm going to bring the first screen up. I'm going to share my screen. And this is the business plan. Let me know if you can't see this screen.
We got it.
All right, great. This does not reflect the teams. This is my personal. So at the end of the day, I want to make, at the end of this year, I'm going to make gross commission $400,000. Okay. Depending on what your caps are, what your splits are, you're going to reduce it over here. And if you are on a team cap, you're going to reflect it in your commission side. Okay, that'll be reflected. So overall, you're going to find out after you're done your life by design, you're going to find out how many transactions you need based on the sales price and what your average sales price in that area is. Okay. Once you determine that, you're going to determine what your commission is. So if I were to click on the commission, yeah, of course, it's not going to come up. There it goes. You can put the formula in here to reflect what your commission, what your cap. Then we have to go backwards. For some reason, I'm getting some backlash on this video. All right. I want 55% of my business to come from seller side. I want 45% business come from my buyer side. With that being said, I have to now have 36 listings sold and 29 buyers sold by the end of the year. The one thing you're going to have to know is your conversion rates from listings taken. So these are the listings I took. How many of them right here do I need to make sure I get this amount here? And then we break it down by month. So I need to get 44 listings, 44 to 45 listings taken to get the 36 sold. Why do I use an 80% capture rate or conversion rate, not a 90 or not a 70? I look at my last year's conversion. Now, I guarantee you it wasn't 80. It was probably like around 90. But I'm a pessimist. I like to work for my money. So I go a little lower. Same thing on the buyer side. This is from buyer accepted offers to settlement. And then you scroll up. We got to find out now how many listing appointments we need to get to listings taken and the conversion rate. Then we got to find out how many appointments we need to be on. Now, the one category that is not on here. And if you look at any good real estate schedule book, like I recommend everyone going on to the website. It's 30, 40 bucks, 2023, Jeff Glover University. Get the book. By far, I've been doing this for 20 years. And besides going into MAPS coaching, getting one of their books, this is probably one of the better ones. The one category that's not on here that is actually in the Glover book is how many conversations you need to be on. So, Mike, what is the formula for that? I'm going to be honest with you. The formula for how many conversations to how many listing appointments is based on numbers. You can have your database. My numbers on my database, for every 5 phone calls, I'm getting a lead, I'm getting a referral, I'm getting one of them. But it depends on your conversation. So it depends on what your conversion rate is. But then if I call expireds, my numbers are for every 20 phone calls after, speaking to somebody and getting those no's, it's a listing appointment. So I average it. I do it by 10. So you're going to take these two numbers, add them up. So that's going to come out to 100 and what, 114, 115, something like that. You're going to multiply that by 10. You're going to divide that by 52. And then you're going to divide that by 5. And that is how many conversations you need to have about real estate with people. Not just, hey, let's go get a coffee. It's conversations directed by not just saying hi, how's the kids? Those are conversations, don't get me wrong. But these are about real estate conversations. So my number is going to come out to 5 a day that I have to talk to. So they have to be real estate related. This has to be based on, do you know of anybody looking to sell? Are you looking to sell when? This is a direct conversation about real estate, asking for business. All right. Any questions on this before I break down what's next?
No.
All right. Awesome. So, Mike, okay, we got our numbers. We know how many people we got to call. All right. Do we need to look at this every day? No. The only time you actually need to look at this is quarterly. So quarterly, you are going to track your numbers. You're going to see how many appointments you've been on, how many conversations you had, how many conversions did you do to listing appointment, to buyer consults, to under contracts on both of them, and then go into settlement. You're going to check your numbers to make sure you're on. Now, let's say I'm really on. Let's say I was on 10 listing appointments and I got 10 listings. I don't want to do 100%, but I'll probably put 90 on there. I'm going to give myself a little, break, but I'm going to still keep forward. So these are the numbers you're going to change. These numbers you really don't want to change unless it's something major. Like say you decide, hey, I'm tired of Mantua. I'm going to go into Medford and that area is 500,000. Okay. Might want to change that there because it's definitely going to affect your numbers. You're not going to get as many transactions that you are in Mantua than you would in someone like Medford. And of course your commission might change a little bit based on what your numbers are. So going fast forward, when you get this business plan, you're also going to get the lead generation model. It's going to tell you how many Mets are people in your database that you haven't met, or cold calls, people that you haven't talked to. Now, I know a lot of people don't like to talk to strangers. If you're in sales and you don't like to talk to strangers, get out of sales, because a stranger is a client you haven't met yet. Go talk to everybody. You have value. It's also going to tell you how many people you need to ramp up and put in your database right away, and stuff like that, and how many people you need to concentrate on, marketing budgets and all that stuff. Then we have the budget model. Now it's going to be different if you're an individual agent compared to if you're on a team. It's going to basically give you the cliff notes: 65 transactions, average commission, sales price, cap dollar, royalty, blah, blah, blah. And then if you're running a team, you got your expenses here. If you're not running a team, you're an individual agent, these are your expenses that you're going to have. And then down here could be your future hires and stuff like that. And then you have the cliff models by putting everything together. And again, if you're with Keller Williams, you already have this. I probably bored you a little bit. Gene Rivers, we did it in October. All right. So let's get out of this one. And let's see here. I need the 411, which is this guy. So the 411 is the thing that you want to have every single day. This is the thing that you want to look at beside your calendar. Well, so we got the business plan. We put that to the side. Your business plan is going to be focused on your yearly goals here, your monthly goals, and your weekly goals. And the same thing on your personal side. I want to lose weight. I want to look better. I want to get some investment properties. So you got your monthly, you got your weekly down here as well. When you start your first week, these weeks do not get pre-planned. The only time anything gets pre-planned is the Sunday before, when you start that week, is what your goal is to get everything done here. Try not to put tasks. You can put tasks in here to keep you going on, but that's what your schedule book is for, is tasks. These are items that are going to take you to your normal achievement every week and what to do. Okay. So it could look like to-do list on there, but if you look at it real quick, like my end goals, 65 closed deals. I know how many listing appointments, how many buyer consults. I want to get 12 new hires for the team. I want to put 6 people in my downline. The downline is basically passive income for Keller Williams people. It's bringing new recruits in, but you don't touch the agent dollar, unlike some companies. It's basically company dollar that you're getting. So, but once they cap, you get no more passive income for that year. For the team, we're focused on so many listings, closed deals from the team. That's actually going to change. We got our numbers. They were outrageous. Those numbers came out to I think it was over 200 deals. So all this is going to be changing for that. And then it goes into your monthly goals and it goes into your weekly goals. So who do I share this with? Okay. A lot of good coaches will say, I want you to share this with your family. I want you to share this with your wife, because these goals are for them too. You're not making this money and just, putting it in an account and heading to Jamaica. You're sharing this. So you want to show them what you do. You want to show them how to get there. You want them to motivate you. If you have a spouse that's like really motivated or energetic, they're going to root you on. And believe it or not, my grandkids are my biggest cheerleaders. They root me on every day. Every time I tell them, hey, I got to go work. Pop, why you got to go to work? I'm like, how do you think you're going to get presents from Pop? Why do you think you're going to go to Walt Disney World? Pop's got to go to work. So they'll root me on. And then when we're at the diner, where we're talking, there's times where my granddaughter will say, yep, my Pop's in real estate, and she has no problem saying that I'm in real, showing me off.
Problem saying I'm in real, showing me off.
So that being said, do you want to share this with everybody? Get some more feedback here.
Some more feedback here.
All right, hopefully that's off.
No.
All right, I'm going to try to fight through it. So you're going to share this with everybody, your accountability partner, your team lead. If you're an individual agent, you want to give it to your broker. You want to give it to somebody who's going to hold you accountable. The best way to hold you accountable is if you're on a team, it goes to your team lead, it goes to your wife, and get in. If you're not into coaching, get into coaching. Whether you want to join the Mike Fitzpatrick coaching, you want to join Brian Buffini, Tom Ferry, Mike Ferry, Bold, Maps coaching. You want to have somebody to hold you accountable to your goals, because unless you're a high analytical person, you're going to be your own worst enemy. You're going to tell yourself, I don't have to do this. I can take this day off. So we're doing actually pretty good on time. We're only 18 minutes into this, and I'm kind of glad there wasn't a lot of people coming on here. So maybe I can get done and watch the Eagles game. We got one more document to go over, and this is it right here. This is the document. This is the document that everybody should have. And like I said, everybody will get a copy of this. This is the 135. So in reference for today, a 135 can be used for anything. Weight loss, buying an investment property, anything. You name it, a 135 can be used for it. A 135 stands for one goal, 3 priorities, and 5 strategies for each single priority. Why would I do something like this? If you want a foolproof way to achieve something, this is it. This is breaking everything down. Now, you don't have to use everything every day. You may use some topics only once a month. But at the end of the day, when you're looking at your numbers and you're seeing they're not matching and you're trying to blame somebody else, now look in the mirror, it's your fault because you didn't do something 100%. Max, I'm going to pick on you.
Yeah.
Max, I'm going to pick on
you. Give me an excuse of why, after setting up a seller appointment, the seller wouldn't want to meet with you.
Why a seller wouldn't want to meet with me?
Mhm.
Maybe I didn't lay my cards out right up front and show them my value add up front. So in the back end, they might have found someone else before they actually met with me.
Okay. Great question. Russ, why would somebody, if you set up a buyer consult, whether it's somebody that you know or a complete stranger, but let's say somebody that you know, give me a reason of why they would reschedule with you or cancel on you.
Shit, I don't know. Something came up.
Right. They get cold feet. They didn't do the pre-approval. It's all about process. Well, the 135 is going to prevent all that, because you can actually structure this for after you get something under contract. But for today, we're just going to use this for expireds. So on my list of my 65 transactions of so many appointments, I broke it down into 4 different lead sources. So I have 4 lead sources. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not going to work with Zillow, outside companies. I'm not. If somebody walks into the office like they did 2 weeks ago, wanting to list their house, those are not consistent lead sources. My consistent lead sources is what were the most popular topics or categories that got me to where I ended up last year. So last year, my database was number 1. I think it came in at 62%. At 62% of my, I think it was 55 transactions came from my database. So it was either my database looking to buy or sell, or it was a referral out of my database. So anybody that I put in my database. So just think of all those settlements that I had. Guess what? Now they're in my database. So my database is growing. But at the same time, I also want to take away from my database. Some people are going to leave. But for today, 62% of my business came from my database. Okay. So I know where most of my appointments are coming from. My second source were open houses. I got a tremendous, because I was the team lead, I was able to organize multiple open houses. So I determined that open house is going to be my next one. And then the expireds and for sale by owners. They're always on my list because they're my daily calls. Okay. So today we're going to take expireds, but of those 4 categories, I had to determine how many appointments. That was my goal, not how many closed, not how many listings, I want appointments because I'm more focused. Don't get me wrong. I'm focused on that closed transaction, but what I'm really focused on is my conversion rate. The reason for this is because if I get to my 65 transactions, but it took me over 200 or 250 appointments, I'll never know that unless I go to back to my tracking. But if I focus on appointments on here, I know I'm going to hit my numbers. And if I don't hit my numbers, then I got to look at my conversion rates. So for my 135s, I use appointments because it's better for me to track my conversion rates rather than my transaction. So for the expireds, I divide them up. I want 24 appointments the whole year. So that means I need 2 listing appointments from these expireds. Okay. So now I need, okay, well, how am I going to do that? It's easy. Anybody can say I want 24 appointments. How do I do that? Well, I got to come up. All right. So the first one's going to be new expireds. That's a gimme. I mean, anybody that's on a real estate team or a successful real estate agent has somebody or they're doing daily expireds every day. So whether they're texting, they're emailing, they're phone call, they're doing all 3, they're doing Popeyes, they're calling the new expireds 100%, especially New Year's Day. There's in our area that we cover, it was 627 people that went expired. Well, all right, got one category. What's the next category? Old expireds. Why would I call the old expireds? We're going to get into that. And then the third category, that's even more agents. For expired listings, why am I calling agents? All right, we're going to get to that one too. So for each one of these categories now I got to break it down. I got to break everything down. Now I'm going to put a little side note in here. When I say break it down, when you do your schedule, I see this over and over time. I can't count how many schedules I get. When they send me their schedule, they put in LG or lead generation from 9 to 10. What I need you to do the night before is break it down what you're going to do. So if I'm going to be lead generating from 9 to 10, I'm not going to come into the office at 9 o'clock. I'm not going to turn on my computer at 9:01. I'm not going to the bathroom at 9:05. At 9:10, I'm not getting my cup of coffee. And 9:15 or 9:20, am I looking up numbers? And that's what the 135 is going to prevent, because when you're looking at that the night before, you're going to be picking one of these categories and you're going to say, okay, I'm going to do new expireds in the morning. I'm going to do old expireds in the afternoon. I'm also going to go after these agents, and you're going to have a list of numbers. You're going to have a list of names. By 8:30, you're going over your scripts for the 9 o'clock calls. You're making those calls, you're taking notes, and then you're post-gaming it afterwards. Okay, you're doing this at a high level. So let's get back to this. I want to get off topic. So we got our expireds. We want 24 appointments. Our 3 categories are new expireds, old expireds, and agents. So let's go into the 5 strategies. So for new expireds, we have to do these daily, Monday through Friday, 5 days a week. You can even do 7 days a week. Go for it. Role play your scripts. It's just like going to the gym. If I go into the gym and I know I can bench, like say 225, I'm not starting off at 225. I'm warming up. I'm getting, I'm stretching. I don't want to get hurt, and you're doing the same thing with your role playing your scripts with your accountability partner or whoever's doing expireds that day. You're going to meet somebody, whatever. You're going to stretch the muscles. You have more muscles in your face than you do anywhere in your body. So stretch them out there. Get those ums out of the way. If you've made consistent calls over and over and over again, and you don't warm up, you're going to mess up the first 10 times. But then you're going to realize after you've made that 15th to 20th phone call, that phone call was way better than the first one. Well, why don't you warm up with 5 or 10 role playing? So this way, when you're starting at call number 1, it's like call number 20. You're on a pace. You're motivated. Get it in there. And you're going to recall them. It's on my schedule to recall these guys at 12 o'clock, 4 o'clock. When we had a system going on, when we had an ISA, ISA is an inside sales associate. They could be used for really anything, but depending on what their specialty is, whether it's phone calls, admin work, whatever, marketing, have them call as long as they know the script over and over and over again. Because here's the deal. We call our expireds between 7:30 and 8 o'clock or 7:30 and 8:30 every single day, because we realize that the population normally has a 9 to 5 job. So we want to call them when they're waking up. A lot of people said, Mike, you call me early in the morning, I'm going to hang up on you. That's fine. I'll call you in the afternoon too. I'm going to call you at night. I don't care. The worst you could do to tell me is, say no or try to teach me a word I've never heard before, but I think I've heard them all after making expired calls for 20 years.
I'm sure of that.
But you get all kinds of excuses. It's your job to overcome them and have the objections and have the cool head of knowing when to call them back. You are going to get that person, Mike, I can't talk. Okay, when can you talk? I can talk at 1 o'clock. Great, I'll call you at 1. And then I'm sending a text reminder. Hey, I'll call you at 1 o'clock. Sorry again for inconveniencing you, bothering you at that time. And you're going to do that. A lot of people also are stay-at-home people. They're usually home for lunch. And that's why we call usually around 12 or 1 o'clock. And then every time people have dinner, kids are home, 6 to 7, anywhere around there too. Guess what? We also door knock. You can door knock. Why do I put that on there? Because we used to do that. So whether I was living in Mayfair at the time or New Jersey at the time, again, my schedule, I know where I'm going right after lead generation, how many appointments am I going on. So if I was in Winona at the time and I was going to lead generate from the office and I had to go to Bucks County, and then I had to go to Northeast Philadelphia, and then I had to go back into Jersey, I would look to see who am I calling expired. So if I'm calling these expired at 7:30 and I realized I made a hit on 1 or 2, and this one person I really wanted to connect with, but they hung up on me or I got their voicemail, but I know I could sell their property. Guess what? I might change my map a little bit, my directions. So instead of going to 95, go up to Bucks County and coming down Route 1, going into Philadelphia, and going back on 95 to Walt Whitman, say I had to go to Collingswood. Well, then I'm jumping on the Betsy Ross Bridge and going 130 and hitting over there, and I'm knocking on the door. Now, before we had this magical thing called the internet, us real estate agents had to have everything in our car. We had one of those accordion file folders, and it had everything. It had the consumer notice, the listing contracts, it had everything, but it also had our pre-listing packages. And it was in a nice box. So we keep these in our car as well as gifts and stuff like that, like cutting boards, and because you never know who you're going to roll up against. So you stop on the way home. You have maybe a gift, you have your pre-listing package, you knock on the door, somebody answers, you explain who you are. It's like, dude, why are you knocked? It's like, this is how aggressive we are. We want to help you. We're more aggressive into selling your house than you are, because you haven't interviewed any agents yet. You haven't re-signed. You haven't done anything new to your property since it came off the market. We want to help you. Another thing you can also do as a level number 5, mailers, Facebook, and emails. Mailers, you can have your ISA, your admin, you could send them the list, because usually the platforms that you're on, like Vulcan, RedX, Mojo, My Plus Leads, and I know there's a couple other more, Cold Directory, you have what's called a CSV file. You can download everything and export it to your assistant, or your assistant can go in there and say, hey, look, I made 30 phone calls today, but number 1, 4, 7, 10, they get mailers with the pre-listing package. Okay, that took you less than 3 seconds to say. Instead of, now I got to take the time out. I got to handwrite these envelopes. I got to type up these letters. I got to put this together. I got to go now drop it off the mailbox. No, we don't want you doing that, because that is money going out of the pocket stuff. We only want you doing money going in the pocket, lead generation, going on appointments, and fine tuning your skills. So you're going to have your assistant, or you're going to have somebody else do it for you. Now, whether you're starting off, Mike, I can't afford an assistant. Okay, then you're the assistant then. My first year, I did everything. But you know what I did my second year? I didn't do everything. I didn't want to do it. I like my numbers, but I also like not working 80 hours a week. So I hired somebody. I budgeted for it. And then guess what? After that, I delegated. After that, delegated some more. After 5 years, I created my own team. Failed a couple of times, but I failed forward. So I have people that do this for me. Facebook, social media. Okay. Do I have to be on social media all day? No, you should not be on social media. Probably less than 2% of the day time of your real estate time. You should not be on social media. You should not be indulging into conversations that are not going to be productive. 3 rules I have is stay away from politics, stay away from sports, stay away from religion. There are conversations that'll take you down a rabbit hole that are going to be unproductive. Put posts out there, motivational post. But when you put a post out there, don't put that cute little kitten meme and it's all funny. Yeah, you can do that, but don't focus on it. Your post should be motivational, but the most important thing is they should be open-ended. They should be engaging. Max, do you know what the difference between an open-ended question is and a closed question?
Yeah, absolutely.
A closed question is me asking you something that's a yes or no.
Correct.
If I'm asking you an interactive question, you're going to give me information. You're going to talk more. As a sales
starts conversation. Yep.
Exactly. In general, when we have a conversation with somebody, whether it's a listing, whether it's a buyer, whether it's a friend of the family, we're at a meeting and we're talking real estate or whatever, family gathering. Russ, let's see if you remember. What percentage of the time of the conversation are you supposed to talk?
25.
25? Why is that, man? You're a salesperson. Why are you only talking 25% of the time?
Because you want them to give you the ammunition to use against them.
I want them to give me the ammunition so I can use it against them rather than me give them too much information where they can second guess themselves and, hey, maybe I don't want to be with this Mike Fitzpatrick team or John Clady group or, Russell or Max. It's good. The only time people want to hear about you and your accolades and your awards is when they ask you. Okay. Because if you start giving them information, it's going to be like that Peanuts commercial where they're in the school with the teacher. Wah, 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 wah. Focus on their hot topics. Okay. And like I said, not to get off topic, but that's what we're all doing here on social media. So this week, you guys are going to be getting, I went to Jeff Glover is like by far phenomenal. Each one of these guys hit the pinnacle each year. For me, my first one when I came into the business in 2000 was Floyd Wickman. Floyd Wickman was the man. He was like the guru of, real estate. He was sitting on the mountain basically saying, I am Buddha. And then came Mike Ferry. Mike Ferry had a different philosophy. It was my way or the highway. And then came, 2010, Tom Ferry. Tom Ferry likes everybody. He loves everybody. Everybody should know everything. Everybody, you got to cater to this person. You got to cater to this person. We're going to show you how to do it. And then Brian Buffini came in. And then Maps with Keller Williams came in. And then now here comes Jeff Glover. Jeff Glover, by far, is probably one of the best instructors I've seen for this time period. Focus on this generation. He's really, really good. And we have a whole social media breakdown just to give you an idea. I'm just going to give you a little bit of it. And I got to get give me 1 second. This is just the cliff notes of it. And of course, I'm not going to find it. Yep, here we go. So he breaks it down. Facebook, 90% of the people are on mobile devices, text. They're not on desktops. So when you communicate with these people, if you're IMing them, PMing, I'm showing my age here, PM, IM, I don't care. Just if you're communicating with them, whether it's a like on your post, a comment on your post, or they did the messenger, ask them for the phone number. I talk to people so many times a day that, hey, I communicate with everybody on social media. One of the worst ways to do it. You communicate with them, but you get that phone call. You're in sales. Talk to people. And plus, the more you put in writing, the more they're going to hold it to you. And then they go into age brackets. 29% are the age between 35 and 54 are sellers. 30%, 25 to 34 are buyers. This helps us with our marketing. 82% of the people that are on Facebook are graduates. 75% of the people that are on Facebook earn 75,000 or more. They do the same thing for Instagram. They do the same thing for TikTok. They also give you tips. Focus on videos. Focus all your ads on stories. Just don't send an ad out there. If you're going to have an ad, have a story behind it because people want stories. People want success stories. People want motivational stories. People want to help people. And that's why videos is number one. And that's why Facebook got in competition with YouTube over who can post the most videos. As you've seen in the last 2 years, Facebook has changed their algorithm where they're doing reels of videos in there. It's going to change again in the next 6 months. All your ads should be, you should be able to send people to your website, but make sure your website is authentic and visually appealing. And then it gets into other ideas like creating a schedule social media wise. But like I said, I don't want to get all off topic. We're back to 135. And then the last but not least, because of the technology we have. So back in 2099 and also in the 80s, we didn't have email. We didn't have, we were just getting email in 2000. Well, now with these services, the Cold Directory, MyPlusLeads, Vulcan, you get an email. There's a couple different levels on this email. You're either going to get, there's two different spectrums. So zero on the spectrum is this guy who never leaves the house. He's owned this house for maybe 20 years. But I guarantee you, when you buy a house, guess what? What's the first thing you do? You get cable and you get internet. And what's the first thing they create for you or they give you? An email address. So unless you never signed up for anything, there will always be an email address for that lead. You have your ISA or yourself copy and paste a text to send out and also an email to send out. So this way you're not creating something. You're not saying one thing different to another person. It's the same thing you're sending out. This is stuff that should not take time off your to-do list because but you want to hit everything as possible as you can. How do they get their information, Mike? How reliable are these guys? They are reliable. The numbers are good. Every time, just picture this though. How many times, as when we were younger or even now, that we go into a store like Kohl's, they say, "Hey, today, I see you're getting this order here. We're giving 30% off if you sign up for a Kohl's card." Okay, great. What's your name? What's your phone number? How much money do you make? What's your email address? Okay, great. Boom. They take this information and you think it's secure. Hey, Kohl's got my information now. Kohl's just sold your information for cents on the dollar to a company like MyPlusLeads and Cold Directory. And that's how they update their system. So every time you sign up for that free tail or that free beach blanket or something, they're selling your information. I don't care who they are. All right, so expires. Let's go over this real quick. So the third one, the first one we have is new expires. We do daily. We role play our scripts. We recall them. So it's not just we're making one call, we're calling. And if they are on our driving list for that day, we're going to stop and we're going to hit that person. We're not going to drive out of the way just for that one house. But if it's something that I think I convert, if I knock on the door in their home, I'm going there. Sure, that's $6,000-$7,000. Why not? And then as a backup, hey, if I got some downtime, if I'm watching TV that night or I have an ISA, we're going to do mailers, we're going to do Facebook, and we're going to do email. And with these expireds, guess what? They're on Facebook too. Look them up. Don't be afraid to look them up. Don't be afraid to have your admin look them up. Can't hurt to say hi. I'm a real estate agent. What are they going to do? Say no? Delete you? Not friend you? Okay, move on. But if you don't ask, the answer is no. So the next category is old expireds. Mike, why would I go after old expireds? Max, why would I go after an old expired?
To be honest with you, I'm a little confused on that, an old expired in general. So it's confused. So I guess what confuses me when you say old expired, you mean it expired and then it's been sitting and hasn't been relisted for a period of time?
Yep. 6 months, a year, 2 years.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, probably just to see their motivation on selling and if they were just testing it out. Or if they're still trying to move, whatever it may be.
Great. So you're using sales tactics. You're using sales tactics to bring them back in. Okay. So, but why don't we try with our conversations leading with contribution? Like, yes, we're helping them. We're saying, but let's give them something else. Let's give them something that they're not seeing before. So one of the options is if I have a buyer that's looking in an area, like let's say I have a buyer that's looking in Oak Valley and we've been out there once or twice and we've seen everything else is like kind of banged up. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to go into residential search, and instead of the active and the active under contract and the coming soon, I'm going to hit expired, cancel, and withdraw them. 10 properties come up. I get the phone numbers. I get everything. Give them a call. Russ, ring.
Yo,
Ross, this is Mike Fitzpatrick over at Keller Williams Real Estate. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Hey, good. I have a problem I want to see if you can help me out with. You have a minute?
Sure.
Good. I have Jeff and Jill. They're in my office, and we've been looking at properties in Oak Valley. They really like the neighborhood. They want to take advantage of the elementary school. I know you guys have a lake in the area, and they just love the area because the kids can go ride in their bikes. They have 2 young kids, and we've seen everything that was on the MLS. The MLS is our multiple listing service, and we've seen everything out there, and it's just nothing's floating our boat. So what we did was I went in the computer and I looked up you and a couple other people. Apparently you've had your house on the market about 8 months ago. You took it off, and I was showing them the pictures, and they kind of, they're intrigued by it. If you were to get your price, would you think about selling your house?
Possibly.
Great. Can I come over at 5 o'clock to take a look at it?
Sure.
Okay, great. Now, Russ was easy on me. But what did you think of that, Max?
I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Russ, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to turn it up a little bit. Give me a little bit harder.
All right.
So let's go into the, hey, can I stop by at 5 o'clock tonight?
Yeah, that's not good.
All right. So what is good for you, if you don't mind me asking?
Right now, with my work schedule, I don't know.
Okay. Do you mind if I follow up with you tomorrow or the next day?
Yeah, that'll be good.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this question, Max. Russ, when you first listed your property, where were you going to move to?
Florida.
Okay. So if I were to get you your price, would you still move to Florida?
Possibly.
Okay. Give me a call whenever you're available. I'll check in with you today or tomorrow or the next day, and we'll see if we can set up an appointment.
Okay.
It's all about finding the pain and pleasure. So the more I talk to Russ, the more information I'm going to get from him. Okay. And with a lot of expired, sometimes they feel it's a sales call and they say, hey, Mike, no, I'm going to keep it off the market. The biggest thing I always go back to, I was like, okay, when you first listed the property, where were you going to go to? If the motivation's still there, you're going to know. Yeah, Mike, I would really like to get down to Florida. Okay, what's important about Florida? My family's down there. My job's down there. Okay, when do you got to be down there? I'm like, I got to report in March, and it's November now, so it's a time crunch. Well, guess what? I'm going to remember that information. I'm going to keep that information because when I need a price drop or I'm taking their sales price instead of my sales price, I now can go after a price drop and I can use that. Hey, did you still need to be in Florida by March? Well, yeah. Well, I'm like, well, at your price that we listed at 300, it's not going to happen. We haven't gotten any showings. So if this continues to go on, we need at least 45 days or 60 days to close. And they're going to get that. And you're going to come up with your objection handlers. So these categories that I put on here, I use the third one. I use for my buyers. But let's say I want to use the first one, my listing, my new listing. Ring, ring. Russ.
Yellow.
Hey, Russ, right?
Yes.
Hey, this is Mike Fitzpatrick over at Keller Williams Real Estate. How you doing today?
Yeah, man. How you make it out?
Good, good. We've been selling a lot of properties in your area, and we just listed a new property on 123 Main Street. That's actually 2 blocks away from you. The reason I'm calling you is that I saw that you took your property off the market. What I would like to do is, if you are still interested in possibly selling your house, I want you to see how well we work. I want to invite you to our open house. And if you still need to get where you need to be at the price range as well, I want you to interview us.
Okay.
Now, I was just shooting from the hip there. I would have probably polished that script up a little bit more, but I would have more open-ended questions. I would try to gather more information. Like I would probably ask Russ, why did he list? Is it important to him that if he still wanted to go there? Stuff like that. These are not A calls, but they can be A calls depending on how polished your script is. Sold are easy. This is an easy one. I'm going to call you Max. Max, ring, ring.
How you doing?
Hey, this is Mike Fitzpatrick over at Keller Williams Real Estate. I want to see if you can help me out with a problem.
Yeah, Mike, what's going on?
You probably saw my sign out there. It went from, for sale, pending, and now it's sold on the 123 Main Street. And the reason I'm calling you is because I saw that you had your house on the market 6 months ago and you took it off. Well, We got multiple offers on this property and all the offers were over asking, but we got 5 offers and I can only accept 1. So my question to you is if we got you your price, I have 4 other offers that I have to tell no to. Would that interest you? Would you think about selling your house?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So you gave me an easy one, but let's say no. Max, say no to me.
No, Mike, I don't want to sell my house.
Okay, great. If you don't mind me asking, Max, when you first listed your house, when the agent went over everything with you, they got you to sign the contracts, they got you to sign the price, they looked at your closing costs, what you're going to walk away with. Where were you going to go?
I was going to move to Carolina so I could play golf year round.
That's awesome. Carolina golf. That's awesome. What else is out there?
Beaches.
That's great. That's great. So you mean to tell me that if I could get you the money that you need,
That's great.
you
So mean to
still
tell
would
me
not
that
go out
if
there.
I could get you the money
Carolina.
that you need, you still would not go out there, Carolina.
I'm sorry, I had some feedback on that.
I'm sorry, I had some feedback on that.
Hold on.
Hold on.
So if I got you your price,
So if I
you
got
still
your
move
price,
to North
you
Carolina.
still move to Carolina.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So can I come by at
Can I
5
come
or 6
by
o'clock?
at 5?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Awesome. So that we already went over for my buyers. Hey, I'm doing pretty good in real estate. One of my goals, if you looked at 135, I want 2 and 3 investment properties. Let's say that one may meet my criteria. This is an old expired. Old expires. There's so many different categories to go after investment properties for yourself for passive income. Could be shore properties, could be properties close to you. Everybody has a different philosophy. If you listen to Phil Falcone says keep all your investments close. All your retirement should be, or I'm sorry, all your investments should be close to you. I believe in cap rates. I don't like knocking on doors. Where's my rent? Where's my rent? And then you got the flippers. You got to worry about the work. I like the shore rentals. It's out there. They pay me way ahead of time. Feel free to go in there. There's no evictions. There's no nothing. I like resort properties. But let's say I come across a Wildwood property, North Wildwood property, or a duplex around here. I'm like, oh, that came up as an expired. I'll call them. I'm looking to buy. So you have a script that focuses on you want to buy. And of course, the 5th strategy, I haven't figured it out yet. But now let's get to the big one. Let's get to the agents that everybody's been looking at. Mike, how are you going to get an appointment on an expired from an agent? Russ, would you have any clue?
No.
How about you, Max?
Maybe a referral source from a different state. I mean, if someone from Pennsylvania, for
State,
example.
but also think bigger. How about in your area? I do this all the time. I'll call agents all the time, whether I know them, whether I don't know them. So
all the time. I know them,
Russell,
but I don't know them.
I really hate this feedback. I'm taking this off. Hold on. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. I'm going to turn this
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, I'm getting it on my iPad. That's what it is.
iPad.
Not as bad when you have the headphones in.
Not as bad with headphones in.
Your listing contract expired.
Expired.
You're breaking up.
I am breaking up. All right, hold on.
Yeah, it's still doing that. Put your headset back on. Give me a sec.
Give me a sec.
All right, cool. When I was trying to knock this out, I don't get the feedback now. Russ, you're an agent. Your listing expired, and I'm giving you a call. Ring, ring.
Hey, Mike, what's up?
Russ, how you doing? Hey, I saw that your 123 Main Street's coming off it came off the market. I wanted to see if you were putting it back on. I know a lot of people are going to be calling, as an expired, but I just wanted to see if you were putting it back on.
Nah, I didn't plan on it. We didn't get along.
All right. If you don't mind me asking, if you have a good rapport, if you can give me a warm welcome, like call your client and basically say, hey, look, I know we're not close. I mean, you want X. I want to tell you Z. We can't come to a meeting of the minds. Can I have an outside party come in and relook at this situation to see what's best for you? And if I do
Sure.
get that appointment, I'm going to give you 25% referral fee. But that warm welcome, so this way I can call them and I can tell them who I am, what I'm going to do for them, and show them what it's going to take to get it sold and get it under contract in the first 7 to 10 days and be at settlement within 45 to 50 days.
Sure.
Is that okay? And that's all it is. So basically what I'm doing is I'm doing a warm welcome to the agent. I'm giving them a 25% referral fee. And I'm also having my ISA contact them with our email or text. So let's say I get the voicemail. I'll leave a voicemail, but I'm also going to have Nicole reach out to them that day with an email or text. Hey, I saw that you canceled your listing, or, you know, your listing went expired. Would you still like to get a 25% referral fee? Please recommend Mike from the John Clyde Group and give him a call at 267-549-2505 to see how we can get the property listed, get it sold, and get you a 25% referral check within the next 60 days. How awesome would that be? If I knew that I was going to get ready to lose my listing for $400,000, and they were going to be interviewing agents, probably nothing I did. It's probably something I didn't do. I didn't show value. Like, they wanted to list it at 400, and I was like, no, it needs to be listed at 350. But I gave in. I did it at 400. But now I'm the bad guy after 3 months when it didn't sell. Now they're going to go interview 3 agents that told them the same thing I did, but they're going to list with them. But then all of a sudden I get this email or this text or this voicemail giving me 25% if I recommend this agent to get that house sold. Yeah, I think that's a huge benefit. I mean, all that time served that you did with that listing, you're going to get something out of it.
Yeah, I think that's impressive.
Yeah.
I never even heard anything like that, calling an agent.
And that's what we do. That's what we do. We think outside the box. There's
That's
plenty of
impressive.
things. Yeah. Yeah. It's trust me, I didn't invent none of this stuff. I talk to experienced agents all the time. I've talked to people that have been in the business literally 50 years. I've talked to agents that blew it up in their first 5 years. Jeff Quinton, when he first came out there for Keller Williams, he wasn't with Keller Williams. He was with somebody else. And he was just blowing it up as an agent, you know, and I love talking to these people because I like to hear the mindset. I don't duplicate anything they do because I don't want to be them. I don't want to say that what they say works for them. But if I can extract what they did, how they did it. But one of the biggest things is communication. If you don't know how to talk to somebody, there's a class out there called Language of Sales. Take it 100%. You got to learn how to speak to people. There's also a class out there called Certified Negotiating Expert. That's one that everybody says that GRI is the best designation you can have. Now it's not. It gives you a lot of education. Don't get me wrong. It's up there. I have it. I have it. Great. CNE, Certified Negotiating Expert. I used it against my wife. It's good shit.
I hope she's not watching this video, Mike.
It's paid off. But yes, you got to learn how to talk to people. You got to learn how to only talk 25% of the time, be able to extract that information, be able to keep them engaged, but be also, when you say you have that for sale by owner, or that for sale by owner, they think they're doing everything 100% correct. So what they did was they saw a Remax sign down there. They saw a Century 21 sign down there. I was like, you know what? That one's going for 350. That one's going for 370. I think my piece of crap can go for 380. You know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this better than everybody. So I know this guy's got 10 years experience. This guy's got 15 years experience, but I'm going to go to Home Depot. Now I'm going to get one of those $5, $10 signs for sale by owners. I'm going to get magic marker and write in my phone number there and put that on there. Now, even though I have a full-time job, I work 9 to 5, I'm going to sell my house by myself. And these people are going to be dying to get into my house. I'm not going to pay a listing agent. I would probably pay a buyer's agent to bring a buyer through, but I'm not going to pay someone to represent myself. So imagine that. Imagine getting a divorce. Imagine paying for your wife's divorce attorney, but don't get an attorney for yourself. It's the same thing as this right here. So I'm going to pay a buyer's agent 3% to negotiate against me and not get my own agent. Okay, that's another topic though. So I'm going to do all this. So realistically, I'm saying that 1 + 3 = 4, but it doesn't. He's saying 1 + 3 = 6. Okay. But he believes that that's right. So then all of a sudden, here I come. I see the sign. Hey, I accidentally saw your sign. I was picking up my for sale sign, was driving the corner, made a wrong turn, saw your for sale by owner sign. How long you been on the market? I don't want to list with an agent. I'm not calling you to list your house. I'm calling you to see how long you've been on the market. And I have buyers looking in the area. I want to see your house. So long story short, when I get in there for that interview and I see his formula, 1 + 3 = 6. And I'm like, well, that's incorrect. 1 + 3 = 4. 1 apple + 3 = 4. And so I show them what they're doing wrong. I can tell you why your house has been sitting on the market for 2 weeks and these two went pending. You're not advertising anywhere. You're putting on Craigslist. You're putting on Facebook. You got to get on the MLS. You got to get with the qualified people. How many showings have you had? Well, I got 3. How many of them were pre-approved? What's pre-approved? Oh, did you get their contact information? Well, no. Well, how are you going to follow up with them? Did you give them anything of value when they left? You don't think that they're only seeing your property and that's it, right? No, they're seeing other properties. But if you don't give them anything to remember your property, or what's so special about this property, what's the 3 most important things that people should know about this property on the inside and the outside? You don't have that. Do you have a seller's disclosure? Well, what's a seller's disclosure? I was like, look, level number 3, this is what I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you a seller's disclosure. I'm going to give you an estimated closing cost. I'm going to give you a flyer of your high points and all that stuff. I'm not going to put you on the MLS though. I'm going to give you this information. But by the way, if I were to list the house, which I said I'm not going to list the house because I would just want to come over and take a look at it for my buyer. But if I were to list the house, this is what you're getting. Oh, and then this is the scenario without me. Oh, I'm back to 1 + 3 = 7. Mike, I think I do need you. Oh, come on, let's go. Let's get the house up on the market. So, and that's where the certified negotiating class comes into. They're not going to teach you mainly what I just told you about the for sale by owner, but it's about not saying, hey, you're wrong. It's not like you're telling your 5-year-old kid or your 6-year-old kid, you're wrong. That's wrong. No, it's you're sitting down and they're like, okay, explain how you did that. Okay. Do you see where you're having the problem? Well, yeah. Well, how about if we do it this way? Oh, yeah. And then they're like, well, do you want to do it that way or you want to do it this way? Oh, no, you're right. Let's do it this way. They're going to respect you more. They're going to come to you with more problems. They're going to come to you with more answers. But the most important thing is you just proved your value proposition, that you know what you're talking about. And that's what the certified negotiating expert class is all about. It's about having the right conversation, not taking anything emotional. And the number one rule about that is you cannot have a meaningful conversation with somebody who's emotional. I don't care if they're crying. I don't care if they're yelling. There's only 2 ways to get people out of emotional states. One is to break the conversation and basically say, hey, take a cooling off period. Let's re-adjourn this a day from now or an hour from now, whatever, or ask them some questions. No one can be emotional or stay in an emotional state and answer a question at the same time, not over and over again, because it's 2 different sides of the brain. You can't be mad at somebody and physically think of answering a question over and over again. So, all right. That's why these counselors say, oh, what's wrong? Oh, describe the pain, describe this.
That's why describe this and have that emotion.
All right, guys. Any questions? I know I took us almost to the 60-minute mark.
No, that was really good, Mike.
Awesome.
Okay.
Anybody who's going to be watching this later, you have until tonight to get me any questions. If not, everything starts on Monday. Let's go. I hope the phones are going to ring. I already got 3 appointments lined up this week. So catch up. Talk to you later.
Awesome, Mike. Thank you. Take care. Russ, you too.
See you, Matt.